so just tell me if the vocals are coming out okay. Alright. So that's my output. Yeah, it's got reverb on it, got a whole bunch of effects. What's up, honey? Happy Honey and Mark Rowe, how you doing? And whoever else is lurking in the background or joining. 2:27 a.m. on the clock. We got the beautiful waning gibbous moon just cleared for me. I've been waiting patiently for the last couple hours to go live. Just reading up on all this material, organizing playlists. Okay, you can't hear me very well. Okay, let's try this a little bit better. What if I lower that entirely? What if I speak a little more into the mic like this? Alright, let me know if you can hear this a little bit better. What up, Vision? What up, Eat All Your Fish? So I turned off the background vocals. I lowered this reverb a bit. Echo shouldn't be echoing too badly. What about now? What about now? That's a little too dry. Thanks for bearing with me. I don't know what happened. I tried to plug in my iMac and it was buzzing like crazy, so I couldn't get my DAW set up tonight. But the guitar sounds good through this. If you can hear me speaking okay, let me know. I kind of have the settings maxed out over here. Saying slightly better. Let's try now. What about now? Oh, what about? Yeah, let's see. Is this better? Thought I would test this earlier, but whatever. Let's do it live. What's everybody? What's up, everybody joining? What's up, Ellie? What up, Jen Perry? Let me know if you can hear me a bit better. I was trying to do the loop station, but ain't happening, I guess. Yeah, there's really no latency settings I can find, so I'm at the mercy of whatever all these microphones do. Typically the best setup is the Logic setup going out of the Focusrite into the PC, but tonight it was buzzing like crazy. I think the grounding was off. What's up, Z Proxy? I know I'm on a delay as well, so let me know
if you can hear me a bit better. At least we got some moonage. Like I said, I've been waiting a couple hours tonight to go live. Nice robot voice. Alright, what about if I speak at a distance? Room reverb. It's this wireless headset, this Corsair thing. I figured I had enough of tripping on the AKG headphone wires night after night. Every time I streamed, it was just like an absolute nightmare. So I got these Corsair wireless headphones, and it's got this mic baked into it, but there's no effects, so it sounds very dry. It's like playing a game. But I'll have to deal with it tonight. How am I feeling? I'm feeling good. I found some interesting channels today. I want to quickly run through them right at the top, so if people see this video who are new to the channel, they'll see all the links, or just hear this comment, which is go into recommended links in my description. About halfway down, and you'll see that I posted a few new things. I got TerraVision, which is just an unbelievable channel that I found today, and I feel like I should have found it earlier, but I didn't. Johnny 5, that's pretty funny. Let me know. Ooh, that's not too good. Okay, I'm gonna do what I can. Try and adjust the sound. What if I speak a little deeper with that? Here, I'll just kind of fake it. Alright, so TerraVision, Greg J, Electric Universe Eyes, The Electric View, Chronos, and See the Pattern. But TerraVision, I think he was on Thunderbolt's project. I can't believe I missed it. And he has unbelievably good electric discharge in the laboratory, doing craters, just things that look exactly like Copernicus, and especially this one right in shadow. I want to kind of compare the two, but I didn't have a chance to get the screens. Just found it tonight. But really, it's, what was I watching? I was watching a whole bunch of different things. I watched Griffith Observatory discussion about the rush to the moon. I created a few new playlists as well today. I went through the channel and kind of aggregated a bunch of stuff. So some of the old playlists are upgraded, and there are a couple of new playlists. And in this playlist, called Moon Talks, I guess I put a couple of videos. One is the Griffith Observatory chat, and it's really interesting to see how, popular, or I guess they're not really entertainment scientists necessarily, but Griffith Observatory is pretty, status quo science, and you hear them just discuss this whole, not being able to get back to the moon, and they're just up against a wall in terms of, they just sound very sad, ultimately. And it's very interesting how no one discusses the possibility of the science being wrong versus it's a funding, political inclination type of thing. So check that out. Let me know what you think of that video. And then I posted another one, which is a 2017 talk from Neef, where it's this guy that sounds just like I do about the moon. It's pretty funny. He gives a presentation, and he's a backyard astronomer and a moon enthusiast, and he really talks about the moon the way I have passion about it. How it's different every night, and how you can track the drama with the Terminator line going across the moon. It's fascinating. He also has a bit of sadness in his voice, because I feel like this older generation all thought we'd be on, living on Mars at this point. But it ain't happened yet. Sorry. Yeah, it's hard to not breathe into this thing. Awesome. So new links, but definitely check out this Electro TerraVision. Give this guy some subs. Or give all of these guys some subs and recommend them to your friends, because it's a different side of this. It's kind of getting the laboratory discharge stuff and comparing it to the live shots of the moon is really where it needs to go. So I'm going to start working on that. I really think it's... Oh yeah, so I know what I was going to talk about. The guy from NEEF, this kind of older generation backyard astronomer, and he was talking about Tycho crater that we're looking at right now, talking about the parallel rays, the feature that I always talk about, the butter spread, the butter knife cutting through from Tycho upwards to the left. And he talks about how these parallel rays really don't make sense, and how it's like a very interesting line of questioning. And I feel like, why is there no discussion about the fact that planetary scarring could have taken place? Is it really that nobody looks into it, or that the possibility just we're so inundated with the alternative, which is just cratering by meteoric impact, that no one even tries to look for something new? So, doing another night to help rectify that. But holy crap, yeah, Electro TerraVision, check out that. I mean, plus I think he really knows the science of it. I've only seen like 5 videos, but I'm going to go back and watch all of them. And I really want to see if there's certain ones that are very particularly like features on the moon and put them side by side. He created this crater with a rim crater, and it really looks a lot like, I want to say it's Katharina. I'm going to pull up the atlas here. Atlas. So there are a couple. There's Stoffler and Faraday, Gemma Frisius and Goodacre. It's such a good night. It happens to coincide with all these, or at least watching those videos about smaller craters on the rims of larger craters really makes you spot them better. So I'm gonna just try and zoom in here for a second. So right around this region, to the right of Tycho, you got all these craters on top of craters. And so the common understanding right now is that these craters are just, hold on, get this out of the way, lower this a little bit. Yeah, these nested craters are essentially these old craters, and then new impacts happen on top of that. And then you have these features that we see right here. But the issue is that if you really look at it, you see that it feels like it all happened kind of at the same time, especially these kind of chains of craters. So I'm zooming in here. I'm just going to find the name of this. But this really looks like the stuff that this guy Electro TerraVision's doing in the lab. I mean, it's also like Billy Elverton stuff and other people, but this particular guy's doing some amazing, just long-held cratering. right? So this multi-layered crater that has like, that's basically direct to the screen right now. Direct center is Stoffler, and then the nested one that's slightly like the middle-sized nested one is called Faraday. You get these two little craters that are kind of one on top of the other. And it's almost becoming funny to call them craters because it's really just almost like blister marks at this point. This is a particularly good example. And so the issue really is that if there was an impact that size, what is Faraday? Faraday is 70 kilometers across. You know, that would have shattered so much more of the nested crater Stoffler underneath that. But you don't really have that. You just have kind of regions that are pulverized at the point, and then the dust settles. So let's go up further a bit. It's really weird talking without reverb, plus latency, but whatever. Gonna go through it. Thanks for joining me, y'all. Almost, was it 2:45? Waited patiently for the moon tonight because I'm in an electric-centric mood. Here we go, another crater, hexagonal crater with the rim crater, or the rim feature. And further, the guy from Neef was talking about, he's like, here's a square crater. Not all craters are round. But that in and of itself very simplistically defies the understanding of impact cratering at its core. So right there, lunar cratering should be discussed and debated. It's getting easier to understand this stuff, and so it feels almost ridiculous when you stumble across talks like that, where you're like, why don't these people ever consider an alternative? And the issue is that, you know, it's almost the reason the moon's meant, or the moon's understood to be cratered, is because of this bombardment phase that happened a long time ago. There's this kind of story that goes with it, but the evidence is really very much in front of us. These, look at this, two side by side, a pentagon and a hexagon, very, very clear. Right? It's insane. I mean, that could only happen because of lattice structure. And so what kind of impact is going to hit the surface of the moon and actually create a hexagon? It's almost an impossibility. Like this right here, just, I know how simplistic it sounds, but really this is the brutal evidence. Pentagon and a hexagon very clearly defined for us to see today, with no clear explanation as to how it occurred. Let's see. I need something a little more chill to. There you go. Right? It's. I mean, let me know what y'all think if I'm crazy. What's up, Sully's Girl 89? How you doing? Welcome. I saw you on the Electric View chat, so welcome. Please ask questions and also check out the description of the video and my old playlists, actually updated playlists now, for compendiums of a lot of different. I had to go back today and I looked at about 500 different videos to find a few choice ones and start that best of. So please take a look at that. I swear I didn't even want to believe it for a second. Like when I first started looking at the moon, I didn't really see them as clearly as I do now. But when you just kind of accept that these are lattice formations and geometry that could only exist, you know, with inherent structure, and what gives structure to the universe really are these, is, I guess, electricity, as we call it, at its core, because of the fractal dendritic nature of it, plus the recursive nature of the fractalism, and then the geometry, of course, because these are essentially crystal shapes, or lattice shapes. And so how could this really be formed by an impact of any size or shape, and extend outwards with sharp defined corners? that are really mathematically perfect. It's just unbelievable. Like, it's just crazy. Yeah, what up, Justin T? How you doing? Okay, so I was just trying to find the name of this real quick. I'm using one monitor and 3 different windows open, so I'm trying to look at the atlas real quick. Let's see. Right, for reference, the hexagon is Ptolemaeus, and then right underneath that is Alphonsus, is the pentagon, and underneath that is Arzachel. And Arzachel, and to the left of that is Alpetragius. And so both of these, Alpetragius and Arzachel, have central peaks. Again, central peaks are another very clear definition of electrical scarring because of what I'm assuming is just where the arc really touched the surface, and then once the arc broke, when it went from glow mode back to dark mode, it creates an electric release. And honestly, I think I was watching a couple of the Electro TerraVision videos, and he has that happening in the video directly, so we have physical, realistic evidence of that happening. So I feel like that's when that discharge breaks, it creates kind of a shock wave, and it leaves the central peak where the tip of the dendrite, the tip of the branched electricity touched the surface or interacted with the surface. Almost like when you frost something with a piping tube, and you leave that last little curl at the top. You break that chain, and it kind of leaves the little, like, Hershey's Kiss. So I feel like that's what those little central peaks are. You can kind of see in, I think, Terra's last video that he creates these walls, and to the right over here of Ptolemaeus you got Albategnius crater, another hexagon with a crater on the rim and a central peak, and also several other little, like, micro craterlets that are what really look like sputtering discharge, actually. So as the arc moves across the surface, it is spewing matter along its path. And so you have a lot of kind of overlapping little sputter marks, but really the lattice structures appear. So I'm just gonna get the wide shot real quick, take some recording because I feel like it got much clearer. Look at that. Alright, I'm gonna take a little smoke break. I promise to stretch the legs every few minutes, so I'm gonna do that. Thanks for hanging out, y'all. This is Feel For You, and feel for all y'all. We're gonna make it through this physical change and get science right again, at least for a few people. It's amazing that I've been doing this for like 4 years now, plus almost 5, and looking at all the channels today with Greg J and Electric Universe Eyes and all these, it's just really cool to see that it's finally getting a little bit of traction. So you gotta celebrate the wins when you can. It's cool, I can actually talk to you guys while I walk around. It's pretty sweet. I can't see what you're saying, but I can just talk. So yeah, the moon's pretty hazy right now, actually. I'm standing next to the scope, and yeah, man, it is not friendly tonight. Let's see how long I get it for. But I'm glad I hopped on for a second. Wanted to share those links with y'all. I'm going to sort out the audio situation tomorrow. So, I was just gonna say, I would zoom in if it was much clearer, but it's really, really hazy. Just gonna stick with the wide shot and talk to y'all for a few more minutes, and then I'm gonna head to bed, because it is late. Yeah, I've definitely zoomed in on the Apollo sites before, but I don't know, we get to this place now where it's a very difficult spot to be in where we have such a stagnant space age. What a shame. So, listening to the Griffith Observatory talk, I really don't remember the name of the guy who gave the chat, but I'm going to watch it again just for reference. But he actually gave a good talk in terms of what's actually transpired so far in terms of lunar expeditions. Just not the Apollo necessarily, but like little satellites and kind of the progression of the whole thing. But he gets to a point where he just starts throwing ad hoc and ad lib gifs and memes about the moon and space, and it gets really sad towards the end where he just has kind of thrown up his hands and given up on our current space program. Has no idea why we're not like much further along. And then he gives a little Q&A panel with the woman who always heads the Griffith Observatory talks. And she very cynically says like she doesn't really have any hope for future moon missions. But I'm curious to hear other people's thoughts. That video has zero comments. I guess it's new, but still. It's so interesting how few people watch those videos, and gosh, I see so many views on these recommended channels, and I just like click ignore. Yeah, so they were talking about things like that too, the militarization of space and legality of space, like who owns space and like where can you land on the moon. But it really comes down to a very simple thing, which is it's insane that technologically it's not replicable. Even getting things into orbit around the moon seems very difficult. I mean, I saw today there was a mission that happened, the Chandrayaan Indian mission, the India space program. So we'll see what that actually yields. But for me, it's another mission that has failed to strap a GoPro on the front of those rockets and actually show us the full gravity kind of assist and progression to the moon. If you can create a rocket that can actually go to the moon, you can definitely create a GoPro stream that provides like 24/7 streaming on the way to the moon. It's just an amazing thing that this doesn't happen. But worse than that, if you look up India moon mission today on YouTube, you'll see very little actual footage of anything. Similarly, there's this other 3-hour moon video I was watching where they really showed like almost zero actual moon footage. It was a 2.5-hour NASA video where it was all about the moon, what people were doing on the moon, and kids' experiments on the moon, all this stuff, and not as like an actual single shot of actual moon footage. It's just so insane. I don't even know what to say. So the haze is kind of dancing around. Maybe it's time for another moon zoom. Yeah, anyway, so, right. I think the story is definitely, like, more nefarious. There's definitely an intentional suppression of information, plasma cosmology. It's not just an accident, but it's so fascinating that these people who are very smart and clearly, like, I don't think every single person is on the payroll. They could be, but like this guy who gave the moon talk doesn't really seem like a guy on the payroll, and he really was hitting a wall. Like he's just like, I don't understand why, and like we should be much further along, and like what the heck. And I just felt so sad for him, and I wanted to just write a comment saying, see Thunderbolt's project for more, but I don't do this sort of thing. But I kind of want everyone else to go do it. Yo, what up, Fantasy? How you doing, bro? I don't know if you're hearing what I was chatting about, but I was watching a lot of videos today, as I do, and then reflecting on them with y'all. But also definitely showing some hexagonal and pentagonal, lots of geometric craters indicating lattice structure, indicating very, very possible electric arcing as the cause of most craters on most rocky bodies that we see. Because this, honestly, I don't think we could see Ceres. I haven't actually... That's one of those targets that you'd think I would have gone after, but I really haven't had a chance or figured out how to find Ceres. But it's going to be my quest for October to try and get Ceres on a stream. But, yeah. If you look at Ceres pictures, you'll see that it looks a lot like the moon. And you'll see this very shallow craters all the way across, crisscrossing and double lobe craters, smaller craters on the rims of other craters, central peaks, and no way to really explain geometric, hexagonal, square, pentagonal shaped craters. Just there's no way to explain that with impact. So it's very simple stuff that I'd love to be doing a little bit of comet cosmology, but that's really tough to capture. It just shows some plasma in action. But I was mentioning it in the Electric View chat that I thought most people could really get a shot of M42 in Orion, and that is plasma in action if you want to really see it. The whole trapezium cluster, M42 nebula, and you can see back I posted in the best of playlist I have some M42 actually, so you can see what that looks like. Even my regulars, I bet you haven't seen some of the videos that I aggregated today. So go back and enjoy. You probably were on one of those streams at some point. Alright, cruising up here to Valles Alpes, which actually looks pretty good. Alright, so here's another particular feature. This is the Alpine mountain range. And then you got this like really harsh gash that cuts right through it. Just turn up the brightness here. Cassini crater to the bottom right, Plato to the left. Alright, they're talking about the plasma ion shield. Yeah, I know. There's some lots of wild theories about the moon. That one is a new one. But like, yeah, I know the moon looks like a shield, but it's so interesting really to just look at the surface. The fact that we can do lunar geology right now, 3 in the morning, South Florida, from inside my house. That's crazy. Oh man, I could use some coffee, but I'm gonna go for a little bit longer. Forget a drink actually. Take y'all with me to the refrigerator. Living in the future. I got all jazzed to talk about these topics early on, and 3 a.m. rolls around, and I'm like scratching my head trying to figure out like what I wanted to talk about. But anyway, I hope you all enjoy these links and some of the new images I posted. I messed around with the logo today. New little TakeBackSpace logo and color scheme and font and new playlists. Hopefully new music really soon. I'm gonna get my ass together. My act together. Get my ass together. Yeah, that too. And post some new tunes for y'all. I think this might be the moon drift out at this point. I'm awake, but I think I should probably go to bed. Otherwise, my eyes are going to explode. There's only so much you can really do. Yeah, I guess, you know, without zooming in, I'll just talk about a couple more features since I'm talking about electrical scarring. So, of course, we're looking at Valles Alpes up top near Plato, and then you really got to look at Copernicus dead center. To the left of it, Kepler, and then Aristarchus. Those 3 regions, all very valuable. Like, it should just be in the background and have a bunch of people discuss those features in detail. Kind of look at the geometry, look at the age, look at what the contemporary cosmology says about those regions, which is not very much. and it'd be amazing to understand Aristarchus a little better. I'm gonna turn up the brightness here and we'll get some hazy clouds. What's going on there, Reginald? Good to see ya. Got a pretty hazy moon tonight. I haven't even mentioned how illuminated it is. Let's find it. I think it's like 62. Ooh, the moon's 666 right now. Ooh, it's creepy. Yeah. 66.6% illuminated. Numbers don't scare me though. And also 666 is the number of man. Always been misinterpreted. But further than that, I think 3 6s are just a very satisfying geometry. And people kind of like the way it looks. Alright, so what are their features? Of course, Aristarchus, right? We got Kepler and Copernicus. We got Tycho Crater and the parallel rays. We got down at the bottom right, we're looking at Fracastorius and Ptolemaeus Alphonsus Arzachel. All like very defined hexagonal, pentagonal craters. It's easy. Once you see it. So evil. Exactly, 999, get over it. I'm actually pumped for this Mercury transit in November. Got some solar work on. I haven't done that in a while. I don't know if I'll have a chance to get a new solar scope, but perhaps. Yeah, there's some really excellent chained craters that very much look carved out and kind of one long discharge going across the surface, but just a little too cloudy to get in there. Tiny bit. Two big showers coming up. I'm gonna try it. I don't know why, it's just like I feel like the skies down in Florida sometimes just are not the right I don't know, there's always like a sheet of atmospherics that prevents me from getting any actual clear shots. I've tried at least 5 times and I almost never get them. Actually, I've never posted a video with me like an actual meteor in it, which is crazy. I do have the gear for it, but we'll see. I feel like October, November is going to be a good good sky months. Am I neglecting the shot? I am, aren't I? Wait, Sully's girl says there is a comet coming by close as the moon tomorrow. That is something I'm going to look into right away. Vision says, don't I just need a filter? I'll look into it. I have a couple of that. I have the light pollution reduction, and I think I don't have, actually my H alpha one disintegrated, and I lost the green haze filter, so I'd have to buy a couple of new ones if I'm going to try it. Unless I set up with a different region, a different area in the backyard, I could probably get it. It's just a difficult shot. We shall see. But I'm looking into this comet real quick. What's going on with a comet passing by Earth? Is it July? Yeah, not seeing it. Yeah, I've seen Bill's stuff. I tried to. I think I just need to like set up the proper lens for it. I have it. I just haven't done it. I gotta use that Rokinon. The one I did for the lightning storm. That might work. But I'm not seeing this, oh, asteroid, yeah. Definitely not a comet. I was like, comet? That is crazy. Especially if that's like a news story, that would be pretty nuts. Asteroid passing close to Earth. Alright, this is May 25th, April 17th. Alright, list of asteroid close approaches to Earth in 2019. Looking at dates, 7/21. So it says July 21st, and then August 19th would be the next one. But what does Wiki know? June 22nd, September 1st. Yeah, not seeing it. Alright, let's look it up. 2019TD. Thanks. Yeah, not finding it. I'll have to look it up tomorrow. It's a little late. Alright, y'all, letting this moon drift off, because I'm about to drift off. Yeah, the A7 II is pretty badass, full frame. But, yeah, Sully's girl, sorry, I tried to look up all of that. Looks like a hex code. So I got colors, and then I got, like, some random stuff. So I'll have to look up that tomorrow. Anyway, no news stories that say anything about this date or today's date. Cool, so let's say goodnight to our beautiful moon. A little bit of haze trailing off. Hope you guys have a great Tuesday, and share some of those links around. Leave a comment or two on the Griffith Observatory and the NEAF video. I don't know, these guys need to look into plasma cosmology. It'll help them get happy again. I appreciate it, y'all. Ellie Fantasy, Happy Honey, Jen Perry, Sully's Girl. I know Vision is here. Who else? Who else? I know Justin T was here. I saw Z Proxy earlier. Mark Rowe, Eat All Your Fish, and whoever else is hanging out tonight. I appreciate it, everybody. Be well, stay wise, stay safe.